The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering weekly fallout from TNA Impact Wrestling Live as seen on Spike TV. You're listening to Impact Showdown Radio with your host, Lee Sanders.
Checking out an all-new Impact Showdown Radio on August the 1st. 2013. August is already here. Pretty soon we're going to be going, damn, it's October already. What's up, everybody? Weekend is almost here. I hope you guys are gearing up for hopefully some good weather. Check out some good stuff in the theaters. If you want to pick my brain on what you should not see, I'm a little bit on the fence about that new Wolverine movie, but that's an entirely different story for a different show. Tonight we're talking TNA, Impact Wrestling. Now, I got to be brutally honest with you guys. For tonight's Impact Wrestling, this was like a first time in history for us over here, as long as we've been covering wrestling for you guys. Tonight, my cable was down. So as a result of my cable being down, I pretty much had to kick back and just actually read the results that was coming in for tonight's episode. And I got a technician that's actually going to be stopping by this weekend to take a look at the cable as well as the Internet, because the Internet's having some serious lagging problems right now. So a little bit of a special treat for our Blog Talk Radio audience and also our Stitcher family audience, as pretty much this is going to be the only way you're going to be able to access this episode, so you guys got first dibs. Our YouTube audience, they're kind of left in the code right now. We tried to see about doing a live stream for you guys, but there was just too much lag, and I care about quality. I just felt that rather than put you through that headache, just do this show for you guys. But I got to be brutally honest, just based off what I've heard about tonight's episode and what I've read, I can definitely sit up and say, man, disappointment is a bit of an understatement, but I want to put a unique spin on this episode tonight. I actually want to hear from those of you that have watched Impact Wrestling. I don't want to hear no 5-second review of Impact Wrestling. I actually want to hear you guys that actually watched Impact tonight. I want to hear you guys give some well-thought-out overall thoughts. I want to hear an overall review of tonight's Impact Wrestling so that maybe other listeners that didn't get the chance to watch it, they can really get a feel of how tonight's episode was. Normally I have that basis covered, but I'm a little bit at a disadvantage tonight, so I could definitely use you guys' help. Number to call is always 646-478-3525. I don't know why I'm getting my numbers mixed up tonight, but 646-478-3525. That's the number to call. Listen for the prompts. We'll get you live on the air. We kept hearing about this hashtag August 1st warning. We were hooked up with the video packages earlier in the week, as we talked about this on the Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show. And normally I try to stay away from the talk of Impact Wrestling, but I just had to talk about it. And I got to reiterate it once again. I just thought that the way that they did these videos, don't get me wrong, the videos were pretty freaking amazing. I loved it. A great, unique style. It came off really fresh, a little bit innovative. I enjoyed the promos, but what I had a little bit of a bone to pick with for the promotion here, the beef I have, was the fact that they sat up, TNA that is, and said that we received this mysterious video package from an unknown person, but if you give us 250,000 likes on the video, we'll reveal who it is. It's kind of like, well, wait a minute now. Either you don't know who this person is, or you do know who the person is. I've got like a tongue twister tonight. So it's like, which one is it? And for me, I just kind of like the fact that TNA Wrestling, once they realized that they probably weren't going to get 250,000 views in time. They just said, well, let's just release a series of videos with this guy. And sure enough, a lot of you all were talking. A lot of you were like, hey, maybe it's going to be Hardcore Holly. He did do something at a TNA Hardcore Justice pay-per-view a couple of months back. Some thought maybe it was going to be low-key. Some thought maybe it was going to be Bobby Lashley returning to the promotion. Remember, he had a short run there. First go-around he was there. Some people thought that maybe it was going to be a female. Some thought maybe it was going to be Adam Pearce, who did a very clever job bringing some of that attention his way. Got to give him mad kudos for that. No, it turns out the person would actually be none other than, wait for it, Tito Ortiz. Now, some of you are probably kicking back in silence, and you're probably saying, okay, Lee, who the hell is Tito Ortiz? And you know what? It's okay if you do not know who Tito Ortiz is. It's not like, oh my God, Tito Ortiz. You don't know who Tito Ortiz is. It's nothing of that nature, okay? But let's hook you guys up. Tito Ortiz is an American MMA fighter. He's also a former UFC light heavyweight champion. Now, he held the title from April of 2000 to September of 2003. Bear in mind that along with fighters such as Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, he was one of sports' earliest breakout MMA fighters. And he became one of the biggest draws for pay-per-view in 2006 for his fights with Liddell, Forrest Griffin, and of course, everybody's favorite WWF wrestler, also first TNA champion, Ken Shamrock. Now, that kind of gets you caught up to speed on Tito Ortiz there. And little nicknames that he goes under: People's Champ, Hollywood Bad Boy, or correction, the Huntington Beach Bad Boy, Lion's Den Hunter. That gives you a little bit of a brief bio of him, if you will. 38 years old. He's from California. And this is a guy that actually has a little bit of an affiliation with TNA, as there was several years back at 2005's Hardcore Justice pay-per-view. He made an appearance as a special guest referee for the NWA World Heavyweight title, as it was a match between champion Jeff Jarrett taking on AJ Styles with the Director of Authority, Dusty Rhodes. And remember, in that match, Ortiz had knocked out Jeff Jarrett with a right hook after Jarrett shoved him. And this basically had allowed AJ Styles to hit his spiral tap to pick up the victory and win the NWA World Heavyweight title. Oh, back when it was the NWA title, 2005 too. Yeah, those were some good times. Ortiz would later return on the October 1st edition of Impact Wrestling to reveal that he was the special guest referee for the NWA World title match between Jeff Jarrett and Kevin Nash at the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Now, in that one, he grabbed the number one contender, Kevin Nash, with a rear-naked chokehold and basically prevented him from fighting with Jarrett. And one more time, Ortiz refereed a match. Yes, a lot of refereeing he's doing here, between Jeff Jarrett and Rhino, as a last-minute Rhino was a replacement for Kevin Nash. And in that one, Ortiz, he knocked out James Storm and Chris Harrod, who at the time were working with Jeff Jarrett as they tried to make a poor attempt to interfere with that match. Rhino would go on to become the NWA World Champion. So 3 times there, Ortiz has had the history with TNA Wrestling as a referee. And I know there's probably some of you guys that are hearing this right now, and you're probably kind of saying, okay, there's a little bit of a backdrop with Ortiz being affiliated with TNA Wrestling, but really, Tito Ortiz, as the mysterious Austin 1 warning. This is who it is. You know, honestly, I was kicking back and I was interacting with a few of you guys on Twitter and Facebook, and I saw a good amount of some of the things that you were saying about Ortiz. Some of you were a little bit surprised. Some of you felt that it was a bit of a joke. I mean, let's show some love to some of you guys. Are you serious? I can't wait, TNA, right now. I'm reading this word for word, by the way. Are you serious? I can't wait with TNA right now. I just really can't. Notice no crowd reaction. This is wrestling, not MMA. Also, let's go to WOW at Axe the Mercenary. Wow, Tito Ortiz is in TNA Impact Wrestling. That dude, Twan Mack, Tito Ortiz, wow. Didn't see that one coming. But for you hardcore TNA wrestling fans, this kind of goes in with a question that was recently asked to TNA President Dixie Carter about seeing all these MMA fighters coming into the company. And she had some very interesting words to say about that. Now, take these words however you want to take it. But as far as Dixie is concerned, some of these wrestlers, or correction, some of these MMA fighters that have come into TNA wrestling, they have a wrestling background. Let me tell you guys exactly what Dixie Carter had said in week 1 of hashtag AskDixie. And this is from user T33GY813. All right. He says the following: King Mo, Rampage Jackson are joining TNA. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Correction. At TNA Dixie, quit bringing in all these MMA fighters. You are a wrestling company, not the UFC. And this was Dixie's response to that. People forget that King Mo is a wrestler, first and foremost. He won multiple medals, several gold medals in the World Cup, Pan American Championships, and U.S. Championships, and a Division I All-American. Rampage began his career as a wrestler, too. Rampage is a film star, both having big personalities, successful MMA careers, and substantial national media attention within the sports world. They've never worked for our competitor, and they both want to do whatever it takes to dominate professional wrestling. I'm open to anyone who fits that bill, and the fact that Bellator's CEO, Bjorn Rebney, and I can work together and cross-promote is a great added benefit for Impact exposure outside of wrestling. So take that how you want to take that, folks. As far as Tito Ortiz goes, and you look at his wrestling background, if there's any wrestling background, to my knowledge, he did start off as a wrestler. He began as a submission wrestler. He competed in the 2000 Abu Dhabi Submission Wrestling Tournament, and he finished in third place after winning 4 fights before losing in the semifinals. So he does have a little bit of that wrestling background there. He's another one that follows in the same footsteps, if you will, of a Ken Shamrock, of a Kurt Angle, of a Brock Lesnar. Honestly, I'm not really sure what to think about this. It just kind of baffles me that TNA Wrestling is bringing in these MMA fighters that really, when you think about the way they've been utilizing TNA Wrestling, they've really been just putting more exposure on themselves and their stock. They really haven't been going all balls out there promoting the TNA product. It's just really been about them and whatever little agendas they got going on the side, whether it be a movie project, a new reality series, what have you. And no doubt this partnership that Tito Ortiz has formed with TNA Wrestling Spike TV probably. This is probably going to be a really good setup for Ortiz to maybe even do something with Bellator and go even further than that and maybe launch some of his own shows on Spike TV, kind of following in the same footsteps of what Rampage Jackson is trying to do and all that. Honestly, I'm really not sure what to make of Tito Ortiz joining the promotion right now. Am I excited? Honestly, no. I'm really genuinely not excited, and I know I'm at a disadvantage because I didn't watch Impact Wrestling tonight, but I just feel that even if I did see it, I feel strongly that my reactions would be the same way as it is right now. And I think this is just a case right here where history has just shown so many times these MMA fighters, they come in, they get announced, we see them for a couple of weeks, and then it's just kind of like everything just dies down and they really aren't being utilized properly. I definitely would love to know what you guys think about that. If Tito Ortiz is a good thing or a bad thing, feel free to chime in your thoughts. Quickly, let's run down some other action that came about from tonight's Impact Wrestling. Bound for Glory series had continued on as points were up for grabs. We saw Bobby Roode finally pick up 7 points in the series. He got a victory over Hernandez. Yes, Bobby Roode. And he was very passionate, too, going into this match as he interrupted a pretty good promo that Austin Aries was cutting on AJ Styles, as he pretty much said, look, Aries, I haven't been the same since I lost the title to you. I've been just on this serious funk of a streak, but it all ends tonight. From here on out, it pays to be Roode. And in that match with Hernandez, we saw Bobby Roode bust out that beer bottle. That brought back some good memories. Cracked it over the head of Hernandez to pick up the victory there. Also, we had saw in the other BFG series, Joseph Park, he picked up a victory over Jay Bradley as Eric Young was at ringside, acting as a cheerleader, if you will. Jay Bradley got a little bit distracted by some of the outside antics of EY, and that's pretty much what had set him up for the defeat. No doubt Jay Bradley is probably going to get into the face of EY, I would suspect, next week, so look out for that one. I'm calling that for what it is right now. I could see EY taking on Jay Bradley. We had the champion versus champion, Manic versus Chris Sabin. I don't know if it's just me, but Manic cutting these promos without the mask, and then he's putting on the mask. You know, it's like he has a split personality disorder or something. You know, I mean, feel me on this. I don't want to hear him talk. I don't know about you guys, but I really do not want to hear him talk. He just sounds like one of those guys that, you know what, just have the whole costume thing going on, have the mask thing going on. Just do that. There's really no reason for you to talk because the personality isn't quite there yet. You're not really getting over outside of the costume. So just stick to that, okay? And I know that's really messed up to say. If I were to compare it, it's almost like dating an ugly girl and you just say, baby, put on this mask. You know, everything else looks good. You just got to put on the mask. And, you know, of course, everything is the same in the dark. But for Manic, a.k.a. Suicide, he just needs to shut up. Great in-ring performer, but he really just needs to stop talking. That was a good match, though. I actually did see little snippets of that match, and I did enjoy that quite a lot. Gail Kim took on ODB in a follow-up to what went down last week as ODB had refereed Gail Kim's match against Mickie James for the Knockouts title. Gail Kim had a little bit of a problem with ODB's officiating, and she tried to get a little bit physical with her in the same way that she did Taryn Terrell. And this had pretty much had set up Brooke Hogan to make a match between these two girls. We did not see this match end with a winner as things just got a little bit out of hand. No doubt we'll probably see a rematch of some sort set up in the coming weeks. In the final BFG series match, we had Austin Aries taking on the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. I actually ended up seeing little bits and pieces of that match as well. I would have to say I enjoyed that match quite a lot. And we saw AJ just come out with the classic moves, the Pele from out of nowhere. It's a really, really great match right there. It ended in a series of countering, but the end result, we saw Austin Aries pick up the victory. We also had got word that next week on Impact Wrestling, Bully Ray is going to be having a contract signing with Chris Sabin for that TNA World Title. Remember, they're supposed to be getting it on at the Hardcore Justice pay-per-view free event that will be seen on Spike TV. Brooke Hogan dropped a little bit of a bombshell on Bully Ray, telling him that he better start acting nice to her because she found out a couple of things that's going to be going on in that contract signing. Kind of leads me to the impression that maybe, just maybe, there's going to be an added stipulation in that contract that if Bully Ray can't get the job done at Hardcore Justice, he will never get another shot at the TNA title again. That's basically it. And I think that it would probably be good for now because in case you haven't heard about it, looks like Bully Ray has been working as a TNA agent. Now, according to reports, looks like he worked as an agent at this past weekend's TNA live events, and no doubt this is another cost-cutting move as they have one less person working on the role with them. And, of course, Jeremy Borash, he's handling all the business-related work that an agent usually does, while Ray does the wrestling stuff that's related to the job. So technically, Bully Ray, yeah, he's doing double duty right about now. And, of course, he's got that experience before. I mean, it goes as far back as ECW and all that. So I honestly think that this may be it for Bully Ray as champion for a while. I mean, I don't think he's going to be going off TV or anything like that. But then again, maybe that actually could be the case. Maybe Bully Ray might be pulled off TV for just a little bit because on top of the whole not getting another shot for the TNA title, this match could also end in a way when this contract signing goes down where another stipulation that could be revealed is if Bully Ray can't win the TNA title, then he's done in TNA. You never know. Two scenarios there that could play out there. But I would have to say, overall, from the little bit that I was able to see of Impact Wrestling tonight, just a little bit. I didn't see a lot, but just the little bit that I did see, it was a fairly decent episode. I think the buzzkill was just really the Tito Ortiz. I know so many people were just really, really worked up for this. And if I were to compare this, it's kind of like, my God, it's kind of like picture your favorite band. Okay? For you metal guys out there, just picture Metallica. Okay? And how fucked up would it be if I sit up and I tell you guys, hey, if you love Metallica, I got a special treat for you guys. You guys are going to fucking love it. You'll never believe who's stopping by the show. You guys are going to just love this. And I just keep teasing you guys like that, and you're kind of thinking to yourself, holy shit, did Lee get somebody from Metallica on the show? What's going on right here? And then when I finally reveal who's coming by the show, I basically say, you know, this is a guy that has worked with Metallica. He's basically ironed their clothes, and he's gotten them beer and some other stupid crap. You guys are going to be like, what a frickin' letdown. What a huge disappointment. What the hell? And it just kind of, That's the best way I can describe TNA Wrestling. That's just really how they come off. It's like, oh, we got somebody coming into the company, and you kick him back, and you're like, hey, who could it be? The first 2-3 times, it was kind of like, all right, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? But then when you find out, it's kind of, all right, so what else is new? And I think that this move right here, honestly, maybe this would have meant a little bit more if it was Mike Tyson. That's just me. Maybe if it was Mike Tyson, hell, Bo Jackson, Bo knows baseball, Bo knows football, Bo knows wrestling, Michael Jordan. I mean, just what exactly is the future of TNA Wrestling? That's what I can't help but wonder. I mean, we've so far seen country musicians try to come into the promotion, do a little something. We've seen singers. We've seen TV reality stars. We're now in this MMA phase. Just what exactly is the future of TNA Wrestling? Because I know Dixie Carter doesn't like anybody telling her how to run her business and everything, but all these people that are coming in, and these, when you just combine them all, these MMA fighters, they're kind of up there in age. You can't really get that much out of them. The only way I see TNA really capitalizing on this is if they were to sit up and go, hey, guess what? In TNA Wrestling, it's going to be Rampage Jackson versus Tito Ortiz. I mean, it'd be one thing if they kind of went in that direction, but they aren't even going that way. This is just pretty much, I'm curious to see how the ratings do for Impact, and I know they usually don't post that until Friday night, so we'll definitely keep you guys alert on how it does. But for me, I definitely would have to say very disappointing as far as that August 1 warning goes. Other TNA wrestling news I need to tell you guys real quick. It looks like TNA, they have a working relationship deal with Wrestle One. And in case you guys had missed it, the president of that company, which is a Japanese promotion, its founder, Kenji Muto, better known as the Great Muta, he attended a meeting that was held by TNA Wrestling founder Jeff Jarrett. Now, according to sources, it looks like that they're trying to work on a idea of creating a working relationship amongst the two promotions. And it looks like Muto, he was the one that had approached TNA following the collapse of New Japan Alliance while still working as president of All Japan. Also during that time, TNA had opted to send talent to Pro Wrestling Noah to test the waters of a TNA-Noah relationship. Now, TNA official Andy Barton, who also oversees the international television distribution, was on hand to iron out specifics of using TNA talent, footage, and the TNA name. This was a required move as TNA does not allow talent to wrestle televised events for other promotions, and thus a special exception was required. So I know there's a couple of people that are looking at this move, and they're really hoping for the best. I'm definitely hoping for the best with this right here. And also, in other Impact Wrestling news, not really too much has been going on. It's been relatively quiet. But I know one of the other questions that Dixie Carter was asked was if there was any hope that maybe they could sign Bill Goldberg. And she admits that she's been a fan of his for a few years now, and that it would be pretty awesome to see him in the company. And she actually said that she hopes to maybe be able to work with him one day. And in other TNA Wrestling news, it looks like TNA Wrestling, they've signed another TV distribution deal, as this deal is with a network out in India. TNA Wrestling and Sony 6, they're expected to announce that they will begin carrying Impact Wrestling. Now, the initial word has it that all TNA programming, including Explosion and pay-per-view events, will be carried on that network. So, some good news right there. Other than that, it's been relatively quiet. I know Madison Rain, she posted a new blog where she talked about TNA, her personal life, and she really just gave a lot of outpouring support to her fans, basically saying that she wasn't fired from the company. It basically ended in a way where no doubt they could probably still have some type of working relationship in the future, and she knows that it makes TNA look bad that they basically parted ways, considering that she is pregnant and she's due in September, I believe, but she said that, you know, things like this, it happens, and it happens for the right reason, and she honestly feels that she'll be back on TV one day, still throwing it down. So no doubt she does not plan on giving up being a wrestler despite TNA Wrestling releasing her, but she did go on record and pretty much say that she wasn't fired from the promotion in any type of way. And I highly would recommend that you guys go check out that blog and definitely send her some warm thoughts on Twitter. Other than that, boys and girls, that's pretty much been it as far as TNA Wrestling news goes, except for Bruce Pritchard. He put out a tweet after getting, I won't say released, but after he parted ways from TNA Wrestling. He put out a very interesting tweet. It was just one simple tweet, which is basically he's getting ready to finish his book. So apparently this has got to be something he's been working on for a few years now, and I guess he's finally decided to put the finishing touches on that book. Very curious if he's going to be recalling all of his time in TNA Wrestling. I'm very curious to know what the title of that book is going to be. But other than that, yeah, folks, that's pretty much it. I got some quick programming notes I need to let you guys know about. We got the weekend edition of the RCWR show this Saturday. Yes, it's back. It's in full force. We'll definitely take a little stab at reviewing that new Wolverine. We were supposed to do it for you guys last weekend. I'll definitely give you my thoughts on it, and we'll also dive into the very latest in entertainment news and beyond. So make sure you join us for that. It's going to be a good show. And as far as programming for next week goes, we will have Impact Wrestling Live back. The simulcast will return. You'll be able to catch it on YouTube, and you'll be able to catch it right here at blogtalkradio.com. And if it was your first time checking us out, I humbly welcome you. Even if it wasn't your first time checking us out, long-time listeners, I really hope you had enjoyed the show tonight. As I said, I was a little bit at a disadvantage tonight with my cable and my internet just acting really, really funky. I hope that you kind of came away feeling a little bit fueled on our coverage of Impact Wrestling tonight. Usually I love going a little bit more in depth with the matches and everything, but I was at a very bad disadvantage tonight. Those of you that's been listening for a long time, hopefully you guys can forgive me, and I promise you guys we'll definitely have a more of a spot-on show next week. So for those of you that maybe didn't like this week's episode, very sorry in advance, but if you did enjoy it and it was your first time checking us out, I'd love to have you subscribe to us so that you never miss out. You could do so by hitting us up at our profile page at blogtalkradio.com /the RCWR show. There's a follow button. Click on that. You'll get alerts, let you know about upcoming shows that we're going to be doing for you guys, guests that's going to be stopping by. You can also look us up on YouTube, where we stay posting a lot of exclusive content. I actually chimed in my thoughts on a recent attack that happened to a wrestler. I highly would encourage you guys to go check that video out. It's been getting a lot of comments. It's been getting a lot of views. A lot of people have been chiming in their thoughts, and I definitely would love to hear from you. So go look up that video. You'll know it when you see it. And we're actually going to read over some of you all's comments from that on Saturday's show. So definitely make sure, if you want your shout out, that you post a comment on that video as well. You can find it at the RCWR show. We always post a lot of great content on a weekly basis. We're also in iTunes. Look us up. Also on Stitcher. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. And within the coming weeks, I got some really great news for you guys. In the coming weeks, we're actually going to be looking into joining TuneIn, which will give you the ability to play old episodes like 24/7, just continuously, but then it's also giving the ability to play new live episodes. So more on that in the coming weeks, but for those of you that would love the opportunity to check out older shows, that's definitely going to be something that you'll really enjoy. Other than that, that's it, boys and girls. Hey, great show tonight. Let's see what we can do next go-round. Black Avenger Lee Sanders, wishing you all to be safe and be kind to one another. Pleased to meet you. Nice to know me. Everybody, take care.